Joining us now here on In the Circle on D1 Softball, he is the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, has led him to five College World Series appearances, five straight top six finishes in full seasons completed. He's led this program to the top four winningest program since 2021. Speak of our good friend Kenny Gajewski, kind enough to join us here on In the Circle at D1 Softball. How's it going, Coach? That's pretty good accomplishments there.
Yeah, it's kind of neat to hear you rattle that stuff off. It tells me we've had a lot of good players here, and we've got an excellent coaching staff here, and just as important, we have an administration that is behind us. I think that's what it takes, especially in this day and age of change and all that's going on. Oklahoma State is obviously all in for softball, and they've allowed us to make this stuff happen.
It's your 10th season, too. It's just 10th season in Stillwater. Has it flown by? Like, how would you describe it here? And also, how do you feel you're a different coach or person now than when you arrived in Stillwater?
Yeah, the 10 years is wild. I can tell in my beard. It's definitely a lot grayer and whiter. Um, I it's wild. I mean, I can remember a lot from the first year. It was one of the in my professional coaching life, it was one of the best years I ever had. And just what that team was able to do and was able to start. Coach Shippey was on that team, and that was an amazing run with her. Obviously we didn't get her to OKC. That's maybe one of my biggest I don't want to call it a disappointment, but one of my biggest bummers is that we didn't get her as a player to OKC. Obviously, we've done that now as a staff with her on there. But some great memories and yeah, I mean, things have changed in a crazy way. And I'm a way better coach. Even though I still say this, I'm still the worst coach on this staff. I'm a way better coach, and paying attention to good people we've had here, and just growing and evolving over time. I think that's what the best coaches do, and right now is probably the most important time of growth for all of us, and what we've got to do to keep our game with a great trajectory. We've got to all evolve and be willing to accept change, and hopefully, our game will do that.
I remember we spoke about a year ago this time, and you had a lot of questions about your own team. They were so young. Who's going to play in this position? How good are we going to be? And all that. And you ended up having an incredible season led by Lexi Kilfoyle, who wins the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. You get to be a top eight seed once you get to the World Series in Oklahoma City when a lot of people questioned whether you would even get that far as a young team. I know it didn't finish the way you would have liked in Oklahoma City, but when you reflect back, do you think of what you accomplished considering the youth that you had going into last year?
I mean, Eric, I think inside this building, I think we felt like we could do what we did. Um, as the season progressed, I think our expectations kept rising. The way Lexi was pitching, the way our young people were performing, the way our transfers and returners were performing. We go in and have a great year. We get off to a great conference start. We had a really dismal weekend at Iowa State that really kind of cost us, and could have kind of derailed the season. But I think with the leadership on the team and us rallying behind, our staff and everything that we could do, then we go and beat OU and take that series in Norman. Obviously really good regional and super regional. And then we just didn't really perform in OKC. And, it's kind of been the underlying thing that we've been talking about, is how do we just perform a little bit better there? So I don't know that we were shocked inside here. I thought I think I said last year it was the best team of talent I thought we had had up to that time. I'm saying that again right now with this team. So we had high expectations inside here. Um, and we're not really worried about what others think. I mean, we know that others didn't think very highly of us, or I think they thought we were good, but not that good. But I think the expectation that these players have embraced, created, started, whatever you want to say, they think we should win every game and they think we should be in OKC. And so when you've got kids that believe that and work like that, prepare like that, good things happen.
What's the key to building consistency that you have done there at Oklahoma State? Like I read off the numbers in the open there. This five straight full seasons that have not that have been completed. You finished at least in the top six in the final polls. 192 wins since 2021. That's the top four in the sport. How do you build those? What's the key to building a consistent winning program like you have?
I mean, I wish I could just say, "Hey, here's how it's done." I just think the one thing we've always tried to do here is just kind of stay present where our feet are, and every year, kind of one of the things that I really love about coaching is every year is a new start, and it's also one of the hardest things because every year is going to end. So that's a really hard deal to handle. But we've got an amazing coaching staff here that we're constantly thinking ahead. We're still very focused on where our feet are. Um, we try to be very consistent inside our office and around practice and the way we coach during games. We've tweaked some things again because we just you know these kids tell us they want to win the last game. So I think as a coaching staff, you just got to keep kind of just barely turning that dial. And so we're doing that. We've got great leadership here, a school that supports us, and so we just put our head down and we go to work. And I think we're not good at taking no for an answer. If we get no, then we're gonna work to figure out how we can turn that into a yes. And so I just think it's a combination of a lot of great people, a lot of obviously great players, and a community that really rallies behind this team. And when you get all that stuff working in the same direction, when you get alignment, I think you have a chance to sustain some success. And you know, you're only as good as what you were yesterday or to here today, right? You can't worry about what's next. And so we really just try to stay on that.
Well, certainly as we look at this season and this year's team, the number one question you're going to get asked by the local media and if throughout up until opening day is your pitching staff. That's what happens when you lose one of the greats in the Cowgirl history. Their Big 12 pitcher of the year, Lexi Kilfoyle, who's playing professionally, had a great athletes unlimited season, by the way, in her rookie year. So she had a heck of a year. Super excited for her. I know she's still going to be around your program. Let's first start with her. How is she doing? And I believe she's going to be a GA or something in your program.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been after AU, she arrived back on campus and is just helps our staff. So she's a graduate assistant here. Had a great role. Think she's a really good set of eyes for Carrie. I think she's very good for our pitching staff that's currently here. She's very down to earth, very normal. Think she's thinking about buying a house here. So I think it tells you a little bit about what she thinks of Stillwater and her experience here. So that's something that makes me feel very, very good. That a kid from Tampa would want to be here, full time. So she's just an amazing person, a great asset to our program still, and we're looking forward to watching her keep competing. She just got back from Australia, was the MVP there, playing against some really good American players, and so it's been really fun to watch her.
That's been tremendous. I didn't know about the Australian part. I knew she was playing in Australia. I didn't know she won MVP. She just keeps getting more accolades and won't
Yeah,
nonstop,
yeah.
which is awesome for her. So the question that I think many will ask you, well, how you don't replace her, but how does the pitching staff look without her? You've added obviously Ruby Malin for coming over from Washington. You've added Crandall, where a lot of Big P fans that follow the Big 12 know very well from her time at Baylor. You got some returners back. So how does the pitching staff look this year?
I mean, I think the pitching staff looks as good as it's ever looked. I mean, think I'd be a fool to not say that. Now they've got to go out and perform like that against maybe the best schedule in the country. Our schedule is really no joke, and I'm excited about that. So we're going to be able to find out right from the first day against a really great Florida State team and program and coaching staff. And I really like what Ruby looks like. I really like the way she's come in here and and worked. Riley's just a bulldog that wanted to be here out of high school, and we kind of went a different way. We were recruiting her for a bit, and then we kind of backed off. And so I wasn't even sure that she would want to come here. But when she called, I obviously that told me she was interested. She's been as advertised. Both of them are getting better here under Carrie. For whatever that's worth. No disrespect to where they came from. We just feel like what we've seen and what we know of them, they're adding some wrinkles, they're adding things, and now they got to go out and perform. And then you've got Kyra Acock that had in her mind, a very down sophomore year after a really good first year here. She's starting to really find her way again, find the consistency that we need her to have, and then Katie Coots, who is a pretty touted freshman and recruit and didn't get a lot of opportunity. Has got to continue to earn that here. She's got electric stuff if she trusts it, and goes through that process. So I feel like this staff is maybe as good as we've ever had, depth wise. Carrie is just I've just been blown away with the way she is coaching and the way she's growing. And just as important, maybe the relationships that these girls have with her. Special, and it's been really fun to watch this growth in her from a player that came here as not a very good teammate to a player that turned into an amazing teammate to somebody I really wanted on our staff. And to watch her mind and to watch her love for pitching. These kids, I mean, they can't wait to throw bullpens. They can't wait to compete when they don't perform well. I think they wear it pretty hard because they know what Carrie's been putting in to them, and so it's really cool to watch.
I know you felt when you brought her back that that was a right fit, but are you even surprised how quickly it's fit in perfectly? It sounds like you've been blown away by how easy, well, not easy is a bad word, but like sort of that what a perfect fit it's been with the players from that standpoint. Are you a little even surprised on how quickly, considering she's so still a young coach?
Yeah, I mean, she's really young in our game, but I think she's been around some great people. At Virginia Tech when Doug Gillis was there, I think a lot of people think he's one of the best pitching coaches around, as far as just being able to help kids get better. And then you've got, she was here with John Barchfelt, who's maybe one of the best pitch callers I've ever seen, been around. And then she's a lot like John in a lot of ways. Her brain and the way she can recall things is maybe the best I've ever been around. And so when you put all that together, I figured we'd have some bumps. I don't, if we have, I haven't felt those. I'm sure we've had some internally that were just growing pains. But I think if you just look at the development in Kilfoyle in 1 year under Carrie, she had her best year she's ever had. You look at an Ivy Rosenberry, not even close the best years she's ever had. A lot of people had written her off, couldn't help us, couldn't do the things that we want to do, and she was just a couple votes shy of being an All-American. Um, I think when you start looking at that and you start really diving in, the proof is in the pudding. And I'm just very happy. Her work ethic is very, very strong. Her brain works in a great way. She's emotionally invested as well as everything else. It's really cool to watch.
You returned the entire infield starting from last year, led, of course, by Carly Godwin, who was phenomenal as a freshman last year, put up big time numbers. You got Rosie Davis at second, Bloodworth at short, Edwards at third. How big is that to have maybe arguably one of the best infielders in the sport, all of them back? Because I remember a year ago you were trying to figure out who was going to play in the infield. What a difference a year makes. But talk about this infield that's going to help from an offensive standpoint, but also defensively help your pitching staff.
Yeah, this infield is they're fun. I mean, it's really fun to watch. We brought in Rachel Hathoot from New Mexico. We wanted to get some more depth. We wanted to push Bloodworth. Bloodworth, her game has just elevated to a place that we haven't seen yet, offensively and defensively. Rosie Davis, just getting better. Carly getting better as well. Talon, I'm excited about Talon, as well. It's time for her to kind of take the next step, and be the player that she thinks she can be. I think that we think she can be as well. So to have all these guys back and to have Rachel as depth, currently, I think we all have Bloodworth beating Hoot out, and Hoot will move to our outfield, but still getting a lot of work. If she goes in, I don't think that we're going to miss much at all. She's been had an incredible fall, but and then on top of all that, we added Greg Bergeron here. As our new coach. And I've known Bergie for a lot of years. Been my best friend since about age 5, and I've been wanting to get him on our staff for a long time. Just timing and got to have got to have a spot open, and we were able to bring him here. He's by far the best infield guy I've been around. Tremendous coach, tremendous dude. Our girls are just really rallied around him. They're getting better. They see it, more efficient, and all that packaged up for a team that throws a lot of drop balls. I'm excited because we're going to catch a lot of balls, and we're going to stay in a lot of games because we can play catch.
Is he taking some of your responsibilities? Because I know you used to run the defense. Is he running the defense? Are you both co-running the defense? How does he fit in?
Yeah, he's running the defense. He's coaching third base too. So it's been a hard thing for me to,
I
to
was gonna
give up.
say, wow.
But I'm still be out there at first, and we'll still talk. I mean, we're still going to talk and go through a lot of stuff that we want to do. But he's really good. He's been doing this for a lot of years in baseball, and the last 4 in softball now, and I just really like what he brings, and so we're doing that. So yeah, he's taken on a lot of responsibility, but there's nobody more ready to do that, and I'm excited about that.
What led you to kind of give delegate those things and give that up a little bit? Is it you want to be more of a CEO type of role? Was it just you felt it was just a better fit? That's how good Greg is. I mean, that's not easy for you because you've done that for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of all that, Eric. I think our roles as head coaches are changing some in order to stay ahead. We're getting pulled in different ways, and we have to be thinking in different ways on how we're going to look, going forward in the future. So somebody's got to be thinking about that. Um, I think that would probably fit me. And that's so it pulls me out of things. I mean, his experience, he's coached way more games than I have ever, at third base, managed more innings, games than I could ever hope to. Um, and so you just look around and go, okay, what is best for this program? Not my ego. I mean, I think we all have an ego, but I want to try to look into the mirror and go, okay, what's the best thing? I'm not afraid to take some risk. There's probably a little bit of risk there, but I'm okay with that. I mean, we always say on the other side of risk is a pot of gold, and so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, that's just the way it is, and I'll wear that, and we'll go on. But anything that we do, we think about for a long time. I've been thinking about it since I hired him. I didn't really tell him this until we started fall practice. Kind of wanted just to watch it go, and I don't know when I told him that he really thought it was a good idea, but we just went with it, and I think we all think it's running well and looking well, and we're going to go for it. I mean, that's what we're here to do, is to go for it. And I think as the leader of this team, that's what's best. And so we're going to try to make it happen. Our girls, I haven't seen them miss a beat. I love the way they're performing and they're working. So it looks on for what we have now, it looks like it's going great.
Outfield, you got some returners back. You've added some big pieces there, including Megan Delgadillo coming over from Cal State Fullerton, center fielder there. You mentioned Rachel, who could play the outfield, which is fascinating. That kind of be more of a utility, could play infield, play the outfield there. You returned Tim, you returned Lexi McDonald. Tell me about the outfield outlook there and how you feel in that particular range there.
Yeah, I mean, I love what we have out there. Obviously, with returners, Claire Tim got the most at bats. Well, she was an everyday starter. She's still that. I expect her to have a really nice year. Is starting to look like a pro. I mean, just the body, the way the mind works. It's just fun, to watch. She's just the. I can remember Claire when she walked in here, and she was this little skinny, tall, scrawny kid, and has just put on muscle and the strength that you need to play in this conference and to play this game at the highest levels. She looks the part, just goes about her work. She's kind of that steady Eddie kid, and she's going to hit in the top of our order. I expect her to have a big year. Lexi McDonald had a great end to our season, got a lot of at bats. That's going to continue. Got to find her the right spots. I think the way that Rachel Hathoot has performed, she's ahead of her at this point. And Rachel just gives us another dimension with speed. And just IQ is very high. Even though she hasn't played a lot of outfield, she looks like one of our best outfielders on our team. The addition of Megan, we call Cheese. I think everybody calls her Cheese. I don't know that I've been around a more heady softball IQ strong kid in my time. She just has a knack for knowing what's going on, taking extra bases, getting on base, stealing bags. It's a freak show in so many ways. The energy that this kid brings, she brings a smile to your face every day. She is going to make major headway. I'm not sure she'll hit 450 here like she's hit her whole life. We'll see. I mean, if she does, awesome. We've got her hitting away more, trying to elevate her game, doing things. The defense is awesome. I love what we've got. And then Tia Warsop is a sophomore who's can absolutely fly. Is on the Great Britain national team. I think those are kind of the people that are really in your mix to get a lot of at bats and starts and get in our lineup. So I really love the depth that we bring there. And then I think that's why I think this team is so good. We've never had this sort of depth ever. It's amazing.
I'm gonna have to get her on the show later in the year during the season if she's doing well, just to find out how you get a nickname Cheese, and how you
You
feel about that. Like, how do you feel if you've been nicknamed Cheese?
Yeah, I think your audience would. I think it may be one of your most retweeted or shared podcast because she will light up the room. She just got great energy. She loves softball. I mean, the one thing I talk to these transfers about is, especially if you're a 1 year kid, like you don't have time to kind of walk in and peek around the door and kind of waste time. You have to kind of bust the door down and like in Bull Durham, you have to announce your presence with authority. And and there's a respectful way to do that. And I think after the first week here, she may have been everybody's favorite teammate.
Wow.
And I don't know that I've ever seen that happen. And she told me, she goes, I told her one day, I said, we were talking, and I said, I'm just amazed on how you've come in here and you've embraced the cowgirl way. You've embraced this program. She goes, you told me to bust the door down. And I'm like, yeah, I did, but I didn't. Nobody ever does. And she did that. And it's just really cool to watch. And you can see the way I smile. Like it's just, she's a fun kid to be around.
Yes, I don't think I've ever had to ask somebody why your nickname is Cheese in 900 plus episodes of this podcast, but I'm looking forward to that,
Yeah.
doing that at some point this year. We mentioned earlier about the pitching staff. I forgot to mention the catching position and the relationship and the responsibilities that your catchers have with your pitchers. How big of a factor is in that, and how is that going this year with the new faces in particular, with Ruby and of course with Crandall with your catchers?
Well, I am super excited about the catching depth. Amanda Hassler is a transfer from North Carolina State. I think she has surpassed all expectations that I've already had for her. And I don't say that in a numbers game. I think she's gonna put up massive numbers here, and prove that she is legitimately one of the best catchers in the country. The catching has really improved. It's got to get better, but it's really improved. But offensively, this kid is a beast. She um I just the work, the everyday work, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way about their kids. But the everyday work that this kid has, it's a testament to her family, the way she's been brought up, the way she's been coached through travel ball and that sort of stuff. She just comes here every day to get here to work. She's kind of quiet, but I would tell you she's kind of like that quiet assassin. You would never think something is coming out of her mouth, and then all of a sudden she speaks, and you're like, okay, you get it. I think our kids love her. They say she's one of the funniest kids around, but as a coaching staff, I don't think we would know that. But she just comes here to work. In our orange and black series, she hit a few home runs that I think left our crowd going, whoa, off our best arms. And it's just a kid that the talent is unscratched. It's starting to get scratched, and I think the ceiling is high. And then Audrey Schneidmiller, who's in her fourth year here, she'll be a redshirt junior. She is really turning into a offensive player. She's got extremely high defensive skills, starting to put them together and playing with a little bit of IQ. So I really like the way both of them are playing. And I think it's been fun we know to watch. And the other one I want to talk about too that we forget about is Michaela Work. She missed the whole fall, had surgeries on both knees, tore her knee after she had a monster home run in Norman, jumped on home plate and tore her knee. Nobody knew that. Finished the year out strong, and had to have surgery on both knees again. I think it's about I don't know, here she's probably had 4 or 5 knee operations. We just went ahead and shut her down the whole fall. She's back. I've been watching her all fall, be very intentful in all her work, her rehab, the way she's been talking to our team and Coach Shippey. She is maybe the hottest hitter on our team right now. Just watching her, I I I I just think things are really going to go well for her if she can stay healthy.
Wow, I did not know about the injuries. I'm hearing more and more, by the way. of those type of freak injuries of like home plate and stuff. I don't know if we may need to tone it down just to keep a kid safe. I don't know. It's but I've heard more and more about that. Is there any restrictions with her during the season? Do you have to watch her coming off those type of surgeries, or is it full go?
I mean, she's full go. I had to, she was taking BP in the cage last week and she wasn't wearing her brace. And I'm like, hey, where's your brace? And she goes, I feel okay. I was like, no, I don't, that's not the way we're going to go about this. And she looked at me, she goes, yeah, you're probably right. So it's still convincing these kids, hey, you got to be smart, right? And we'll really monitor to her. If we're playing a doubleheader and there's a break, we may not play her in that second game. We may just keep her warm and maybe it's a pinch hit early on in the year. I want her ready in May and June. But I've already told her that jumping on home plate is a no-go. I told her that before she did it at OU. I've told our whole team that. Like I've seen crazy things, busted ankles, knees, and when we went back and saw it, like she actually came to me after the home run. I was standing there on defense, and she came up to me and goes, "Hey, I just tore my other knee," and I was like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, I jumped on home plate." So we went back and watched the video and you can see it clear as day. She jumps up, lands, and then the leg pops back like she knew it. But she's a tough kid, man. She came here beat up. It's really what derailed her recruiting in high school. She had tore her knee and broke her arm on the same play in a travel ball game, and some people kind of backed off of her. We were one of them, and so it's been a just keeping her healthy. But tough kid, man. Tough kid, and she's got 2 years left. And I'm excited about what's to come. Whether she'll play that final year, we'll see. We got to get her through the first year, and that's what I've told her about. Don't worry about next year. Let's leave it all out there this year, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, stay healthy, man.
Yeah,
That's
wild,
unbelievable. That's
crazy.
I've never heard that either. A player, so she was calmly just telling you, "Oh, by the way, I think I injured my Achilles." Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I think when it's happened to you. I think her body makeup, it's just unfortunate. It's just not. This game is not conducive to her and the way she's structured. Apparently, just the way we move when we hit and do things. So we just got to monitor her, and I think it tells you the courage that this kid has and the strength. And it's pretty cool.
You mentioned the schedule. You open up in Puerto Vallarta, going to play Florida State. That highlights that tournament there, opening weekend. Then you come to Clearwater, face that competition. You've never been shy about the competition. You like playing tough early schedule, especially early because you want to know what you got to work on early. You don't want to wait till later in the year to find out what you got to work on. It's kind of too late at that point. Just speak about the schedule overall. You've got Oklahoma on a neutral Oklahoma City during the season. Just discuss the whole non-conference schedule to get you ready for Big 12.
Yeah, we've always tried to play the best schedule that we can play, and we're not going to chase wins. We're going to chase what is going to help us be the best team into May, 1st of June. And so we're doing that again. Serge has all those numbers. I saw him post some things. I don't know how many games we're playing against ranked teams, regional teams, super regional teams, but we've got them all. And when I look at our schedule against the top 10, we're going to play a lot of them. Top 25, we're going to play most of them. We're going to go to Georgia on a midweek. We're going to go play Arizona State, on a midweek game, even though they're in conference on our way to Tucson. We're going to go play them. We're going to play OU in OKC, which will be a sold out, 10,000 fans. It's going to be crazy. We're gonna play Texas here in a midweek game when they come to play OU. We're going to continue to play Wichita State, which is a thorn in a lot of people's sides, including ours. Just what Chrissy's done there is crazy and impressive, and so we're going to play them home and home. Play in North Texas. I think we all know about North Texas. Tulsa. We just are going to continue to play top teams. That's what it's all about. And I'm excited that we also are going to play in a tournament. We're going to play in a tournament at Wichita State where we're going to play Nebraska, Missouri, Wichita State. I mean, it's never ending. And so, we're going to get to face NISA, in conference. So we're going to face the best arms in the country. We're going to know right where we stand. We're going to know right what we need to do. And our kids are going to catalog pitches against the best kids in the country. So when we get back to OKC, it's going to be like something we've already done. And that's the way we think, and that's the way we talk.
It's funny. We had a mutual friend I was talking to. We were trying to figure out, hey, what do you think are the top five not tournaments this in the regular season from a marquee from a teams in the tournament, everything. And I think we agreed that you're in three of the five easily minimum. When you mentioned that tournament you talked about with Wichita and Missouri and all that combination, that's unbelievable. And not only have one of the toughest non-conference schedules, I don't think anybody has a tougher midweeks than you. You don't take it easy on the midweeks. That's like every team you mentioned there has a legitimate shot to be an NCAA tournament this year. Rodney DeLong's got maybe really one of the best pitchers in the American you're gonna have to deal with. That is a stacked schedule overall, but especially the midweeks, Coach.
Well, we're lucky, there's a lot of schools, that don't have the opportunity to play these type of midweek games. And
Yeah.
so, look, we're trying to host here. We're trying to win here. And to do that stuff, you got to play a schedule and be in the RPI top 16 and top eight to be able to host both rounds. So that's what we're going to do. Or at least that's what we're going to attempt to do here. And we're lucky that we have all of these schools within 3 to 4 hour drive, and so we're going to take advantage of that and play those guys, and not going to run. I think I'd be a coward if we decided not to play them. I'd love to get Arkansas on the schedule as well. They're even closer than North Texas, so we got to play them in the fall. That was an awesome time. So I just, like I said, we just want to play great teams and good people. I like competing against all these people that I have a lot of respect for.
Big 12, certainly Oklahoma and Texas now in the SEC, although you're going to keep playing them during the season. Arizona State, Utah come into the league. You mentioned you're playing the Arizona schools. What's your thoughts on this now? Look, Big 12, could be as exciting as it was last year, and it's deep, maybe deeper than it was even a year ago in the league.
Yeah, we may not be quite as top heavy losing OU and Texas. I don't think any league could think that that's a good thing as far as the RPI and all that kind of stuff. But Arizona is obviously what Caitlin's doing there. She's uh, got that thing running again, and I think they're really good. What Glenn has done at Baylor for a long time has been really impressive. And he can really coach, and his staff's been there a long time. They know what they're up to. Bringing Jerry into Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I don't think in my time, I was trying to remember this. I don't think they've been to a regional in my time here. This would be my 10th year. I'm not sure they've been to a regional. I don't know that. If they have, it's been like one.
Yeah, it was
Um,
19, the Aaron Edmondson year where they went to
they got in. Okay. Okay.
Edmondson. They
So
got in,
it
yeah.
just, I think, they're obviously with Nija and the kids that Jerry's been able to bring over, makes them a contender in our league right away. Arizona State, I think, is on the way back. They still got work they've got to do, but, it's a very proud program. Utah was in the World Series two years ago. BYU, I mean, they are a thorn in the side. I love those guys. I think, and they're just getting their feet under them. Being in a power conference is tough, and they'll be right there. They've obviously won a ton, and they can flat out coach softball. Great facilities, maybe the best backdrop in all of college sports. Just a beautiful town. So I just look at all these guys. Kansas is much improved. I just start looking around here, going, this is by far the deepest we've ever been. Um, I'm excited. UCCF, we haven't even talked about them. I mean, they're a postseason team every year, right away in our league. So I look around. There's no weekends off. I don't think we're getting the respect that we ought to get. Welcome to the Big 12. Welcome to Oklahoma State. It's the way it always is. No need to fight it. Just go out there and keep the chip on your shoulder and go prove it. So I'm looking forward to this league. I think a lot of people, just think Oklahoma State is just a shoe-in to win this league. I think that's a total misconception of who this league is. And does Oklahoma State have a chance to win this league? Yes. Is it a shoe-in? There is no way. And if you think that's the way we're preparing or thinking here, I think people are have no idea who we are. We know what we're up against here. We know it will be a fight every single day, and we'll embrace that, and we'll see where it ends.
You're right. I mean, you got to see Arizona last year in the Supers, and they got healthier pitching this year than they did last year. And of course, Texas Tech, you had the best player in this country, the National Player of the Year. You're going to be pretty good. And they've added some other talented players there, and even teams like UCF that's very young but talented with the way Coach Ball Malone has recruited over there at UCF. Plus, they have members on that coaching staff that know your program very inside out. So now it's like a family affair. But it's going to be, I think, another dramatic year in the Big 12, an exciting year. I thought it was the most exciting league of softball, brand of softball, top to bottom last year. In the entire country, and I think the expectations are even higher this year. Just because you're right, there are so many new, interesting storylines in the league. And like you said, I think it's even more wide open than ever before.
I do too. I'm excited. We got to meet this is the first time in my 10 years at OSU that all the coaches met in Dallas for our preseason Big 12 stuff, and just to sit across the table and listen to everyone talk, and just to kind of it felt different to me. It felt like, man, this is the best it's ever been. And that's I think that's not a shot at OU or Texas. I just felt like, man, this is good stuff. And I still wish we had OU and Texas in this league. It would be the best league in the country, by far, if we had them. And we don't. So we'll do our best to make it the very best. And to do that, you got to go play the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC. We're trying to do that, and it's just see them all, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Jamie Pinkerton, Iowa State head coach, told me that the cool thing about that meeting you're talking about with the coaches is there were some different, fresh ideas brought up because you have new members. So
Right.
you're able to pick the brains of a Caitlin Lower or Megan Bartlett at Arizona State or Amy Hogue at Utah. Hey, how did you do things over there that might work over here, and kind of trade off some ideas? Some fresh ideas sometimes helps a league grow or even help teams grow. And that's the sense he got. Did you got the same sense?
I did. I just felt like, it's good to be around, new people. Like you used the word fresh. It was just fresh. It was a breath of fresh air. And meeting in person instead of Zoom is a different thing. When you're sitting across the table from people, face to face, and you're voting on things, nobody can hide behind a screen. Nobody, like, includes us, right?
Right.
Like, you're right there, and then you've got to justify, in a professional way, why you feel the way you feel. And so I think it's really cool, and I commend our conference for making this happen, and the coaches for making it happen. It's something I've wanted to do in the conference for a long time, and we couldn't make it happen for some reason, but we got it done. And it was very powerful. It was very beneficial. We're having more meetings than we've ever had. We're not trying to be reactive. We're trying to be proactive. The SEC does the best job of that currently, and we're trying to do the same thing. And we're trying to make the game better for all of us.
That's fantastic. I'm making note of this. You like in-person stuff, so you and I will definitely do some interviews probably in person. I'm going to see you a lot in person. Be careful what you wish for on my part there.
Come on,
But
Eric. You're welcome anytime here.
that's awesome. Appreciate that. I'll let you go on this. Once you get going, get ready to play Florida State up in Puerto Vallarta, and you got the Clearwater. What are some questions, some things you're looking forward to finding out about your team that you don't know yet, but you will find out early in the season that will be a key in the season?
Yeah, I mean, we've got some newcomers that I will be curious when they get punched in the face, how they get up and punch back. To be very honest, like that's just something that we don't know, like, they've had a great fall, but it's against people you see every day in the comfort. There's a little bit more comfort, when you have that. It's going to get real uncomfy right from the start. So we're going to see how we react to do all that. So I'm excited about that. And then I think the one thing I can't answer like is just like I just want to get on this journey. I want to get on those bus trips. I want to get away from the hustle and bustle of all the stuff that just goes on that's ancillary stuff that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And these kids came here to play softball. Like end of story. They can say it's school and all that kind of stuff. They came here to play softball. School is right up there at the top of importance. We know that, but these are elite softball players that want to play and want to show at the highest level who they are. So I just can't wait for the journey they're going to take us on. And so we'll just see. I can't wait to see the people we're competing against, and can't wait to see how we handle the adversity that will come to every single team. And the teams that handle it best will be there at the very end. And I'm excited.
That is Oklahoma State head coach Kenny Gajewski joining us here on In the Circle of D1 Softball. 10th season at Oklahoma State. Time flies. That's too wild to me. But hey, Coach, it's been a pleasure always getting to talk to you every year as we do here annually here on the show. Look forward to. I'm going to see you a lot. Like I'm not joking. I'll see you a lot this year as we're going
Cool.
to cross paths a lot this year. But it always takes for taking the time from your busy schedule, not just obviously getting ready for the season, but with your family stuff. You always take the time to talk to us. So we're always very appreciative of that. We don't take that for granted. So thank you for always coming on here and talking to us here on In the Circle of D1 Softball.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate what you guys do, man.